This is the start of the tool room, folks. Just get ready to start tearing all the gyprock out, cleaning her up. She's all cleaned out. We just gotta rip her down. See the old lights, get rid of all that stuff. None of it works. We'll get rid of her and I'll show you as we're doing it. Okay, this is the room. It's all ripped out, cleaned up. Wasn't too many surprises. It's pretty good actually. I think what I'm going to do here, because it's the Quonset hut, they got these pieces of strapping bolted to the Quonset, and they're on there really good. So instead of putting plywood, I'll put plywood across, but what I'm going to do is strap it first. I'll get some strapping long enough. I'll strap it every 16 inches going up this way, and then that'll give me a good spot to put my plywood on. Plugs, obviously they got to be moved up a bit. He wants a bench right across this side, so I'm going to take all them plugs, put them up to 42 inches. This plug here I cannot take up because of the way it's connected there, so I think what I'm going to do is I'll just get rid of that because it's going to be under a bench, and he's going to have a lot of other plugs up above anyway. The lights were on the wall here. There were 2 lights, one on each side. I'm going to move them, and I'm just going to put a regular, just a cheap $2 fixture with a bulb, LED bulb in them, and that'll light this up real nice. It's a lot easier to have a couple of them LED bulbs kicking around than to have special light bulbs like the fluorescents and stuff like that. So the heater we're going to leave does work. I'm going to have to replace the thermostat. The thermostat's bad. But we're going to leave that just so that if they're working on the truck in a cold day, they can turn the heat on in this little room and have a little spot to get in and warm up for a bit. It's not going to be insulated, but it's not going to be heated all the time. It's just going to be heated if they need it, that's all. This old window, I'm going to tear that out. And I'm just going to stud that right to the top there. That's just going to be a wall. The door's right here. It's going to remain the same, and the rest is going to be the same, just plywood it, and then cabinets. Again, any plug that's low, I'm going to put it up to 42 inches. Okay guys, just got back with the material here. See it on the floor, a couple 2x4s. Plywood's leaned up against the bench over there. First thing I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to get all the framework done. I'll put in the strapping, put all the blocks in, the rest of the 2x4s, frame in this window, get all that done. And then after that, I'm going to move on to the electrical. Okay, I got all the framing done. I'm going to take you for a quick peek here, show you some of the things I did. I put the strapping in. I ended up having to block. I just put a piece of plywood top and bottom and to go around that pipe in the junction box there. So that junction box needs to be accessible. So what I'm going to do is I'll plywood up to it, and then I'll build a nice little box and screw it on over it just to cover it up. You can see I put the blocking in the back. That's to catch the plywood. Same with the top. I had to build that out. Put a block right across the top, and then one down the side there. I'm going to show you over here, folks. There's a leak in the wall here somewhere. It is a Quonset hut. It's a steel building, and it has probably 1,000 bolts, so it could be coming from anywhere. So we're not going to get into fixing that. So it only comes a couple inches from the wall, and that 2x4 was rotted there. So what I did is I cut it back to where it was good. I blocked it across, and then I just left it up 1.5 inches right here off the floor, so the water can just flow underneath it, and it's not going to touch any wood or anything like that. So that way nothing else will be rotting there. So I just cut it out because I know that leak, we're probably never going to get it fixed. We'll probably never even find it. So we'll just leave it like that, and then nothing else will rot, and I'll keep the plywood up a little bit off the floor too. And then that'll let the water flow through it. So all the framework's done. I got that, just put another blocking in there. Over here, I got that window framed in. I just cut out the frame with the recip saw, and then just put 2 studs in, top to bottom. So the next thing I'm going to end up doing right now is I'm going to end up changing the wiring. After the framing's done, I'm going to get into doing all the wiring, get that finished, and then I can get ready for the plywood. Okay, I got the plugs all moved up. So there's going to be 3 plugs on that wall. I'm going to take this wire here, that's for the light, and I'm going to mount 2 boxes. One there and one over on this side. One somewhere around there and somewhere around there. I'm going to put 2 because there is going to be a workbench right here, and I'll have 2 lights right over the bench. And then right on the other side, I was going to put 2, but I think I'm just going to put 1 up in the middle, out a little farther, because all that's going to be here is shelving, and that's just going to be for storing parts and stuff like that. Plus the door is going to be probably swinging in, so I didn't want it to hit that because it is a low ceiling in here. So I'm going to change that. This here, folks, these 2 plugs here, there's no sense. There's one there, and then there's one behind the saw. What I'm going to do with them is I'm going to turn them around and put them on the outside wall. There's no sense being there because that's just going to be shelving units for parts and stuff. So I'm going to turn them around, put them on the outside wall, and then they can use them out there if they need a plug. Also, right here, this plug here, the one down low, that's on a separate circuit. So what I'm going to do is use that as a junction box. I'm going to remove that plug, and I'm going to run a wire right along the wall, right out here, and I'm gonna put 2 plugs, probably 42 inches high, on the outside. So when they're working on their trucks, they'll have plugs outside with its own circuit, that if they want to use anything heavy like grinders or anything like that, it'll be on its own circuit, and they can use that. And that's what I'm going to do with that plug. It's useless underneath the bench. Nobody will ever bend down there to try to plug anything in because it'll be buried. So I might as well use it and put a plug on the other side. Okay guys, I got all the electrical done. You can see the plug on the outside there. And behind this sheet there, I got that plug put in. I just put the one plug, I removed the other one. You can see in here, I got one light fixture there. Got 2 right there, they're gonna be directly over the bench. I got all them plugs installed, there's 3 plugs there. And you can see down here, I got the cover plate over the thing, over the junction box. The wires ran, comes across, and that's what goes out to the side there. There's just a light switch. Now, after today, this is the end of it for today. I'm gonna start plywood and everything. Just gonna tell you here, in Nova Scotia where we're at, junction boxes, you're allowed to have a junction box, but it's got to be accessible. So as long as you can open it up, you're okay with it. And that there, what I'll do is I'll plywood over it, and then I'll just cut a little hole and make an opening for it there. And same with this here, look. That there is a junction box. That's powering another building, plus all the lights and plugs, everything runs off of that in this room here. So I'm not going to cover in that box, but I am going to clean up the pipes with some plywood or something at the end of the project. But yeah, that's just a quick look around. Everything's coming together there. And now the next step is the plywood. I'll show you that once it happens. Okay guys, got it all plywooded here. I'm just going to do a quick walk around. This is the outside of the you can see down there, it's just all plywooded on the outside. And there we go. This is what the inside looks like. You can see you got the lights in, they're working. 2 lights there. Just getting ready to put the bench in, and then we're going to start, I think we're going to build some shelving units over here so we can put some parts and stuff on. You can see in that corner there, that's how much out of level it is. I cut it square and I shouldn't have. I should have cut it to fit. But I'm going to end up putting some trim around the corners anyway. So I'll just make sure it's big enough to cover that gap. And this box here, that's the box that we kind of cut around, put in. I'm going to make something just to cover that up, clean it up. Nothing too fancy, just to make it look a little bit better than that. Okay, plywood's all done. And I got this bench installed here. Same as the other ones, something quick and simple. And I am going to build an upper set of cabinets on these ones too. And I'm pretty sure he wants 16-inch shelving top to bottom here. It's kind of hard to show you around, folks. It's small in here. It's only 8 by 12. So right over here he wants 16-inch shelves, and right along this back wall 16-inch shelving for storing parts and stuff. So I do got to build a door frame and install a door. I think he has an old one kicking around. We're going to see if it'll fit in the hole, and I'll make a little a door frame for it. So the next step, I guess, is going to be to install the upper cabinets above the shelf, and then these shelves here. So I'll show you them when I get them done. Okay, this is the pipe all cleaned up there. Built a nice little box, cover that up. And I got the upper cabinets all installed. So they're done there now. This bench is finished. So the next step, I think over here on this wall where the window used to be, I'm going to build a small little, just like a 6-inch wide cabinet, maybe 4 feet. And that'll be for a bunch of little stuff. And then again, over here, this is where he wanted 16-inch shelving. Top to bottom, this wall and that wall. So it's going to be 8-foot section coming down this wall, and then wherever that lands, and then probably a 4-foot section here. So them numbers work out good with the material. I'll just pick up enough material to do it, and we'll go from there. This is the door right here. It came out of a basement, and it was cut. Somebody had a cut. It's a little too short, but it is the proper width. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up ripping these to about 2 inches, the same depth as this here, and then I'm going to build this down an extra. I think probably going to be about 4 inches, 4.5 inches long. That'll give me a little bit more height on the door because it's a little too small right now. And then I'm going to build a frame for it, get it all ready so that I can install it in his tool room when it comes time. Right now it's miserable outside, snowing, raining, and so I decided I'll just do this in the shop. Got the wood stove going, nice and warm in here, and I'll get it built and I'll just install it on a later date. can see around the edge here, this is the board that I gotta rip. And I gotta do it for the doorstop right around the whole thing. Normally I put some weather strip in there, but this is inside a building. This is just the tool room. So I'm just gonna rip a board the width of this here opening right here, the width of that. And then once I rip the board, I'm gonna nail it right around the whole thing. This here, the screws through for the hinges are a little too long, but when I go to install the door, I'm going to use longer screws anyway and go right into the framework. So they're just in there temporary until I do install the door, just to get the jamb built. So I'll rip them boards. I'll show you what after they're nailed on. The inner board here, I got it all ripped and nailed in place. You can screw that on or do whatever you want. I had the air compressor and the brad nailer close, so what I ended up doing is I just ripped them down and nailed them with the brad nailer. I just put all the stuff in and then I nailed that down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the trim. And I'm going to nail it to this outside. I'll have it all nailed in place on the outside. And then I'm going to build another set of trim for the back side, but I'm not going to nail that in place because I got to put the door in the hole, shim it, make sure everything's level and square. And then after that's done, then I can put the back side of the trim on. But I can do it on one side, so I'll do it on the front here. And then do the back side when I get to the job site. This is what the door looks like here with the trim on it. You can see the bottom here. I still got to sand that down, clean it all up. I'm probably going to throw a coat of paint on it. And then the rough stud, or the rough trim on the sides and the top. And just nail in place. So it wasn't that hard. Does look good. And it's for a tool shed. So the door we had, the boards I had, so it never cost any money, just a little bit of time. And it's going to look good and do the job. So I'm going to build a set of trim for the back side. Same way I did that, I'm just not going to attach it. And then I'll just do it when I get to the job site. And that's pretty much it. I'll show it to you when I get a coat of paint on it, or when it's installed, either one. Now that the doors are done, I'm getting ready to make the shelving units. We're going to do 3 units. They're going to be 6 feet long. I'm going to put the shelves at 16 inches, every 16 inches. The bottom one's going to be close to 22 inches, I think it is. And that could be for some of the bigger stuff. You can just leave it on the floor, all the heavy stuff. And then I'm going to put the shelf together. They're going to be 4 feet wide. And I'm going to make 3 of them. And then I'll just install them when I get to the workroom. These are the 3 cabinets that I built. So I got lots of room on the bottom for bigger stuff. And the shelves are 16 inches, which will fit a 5-gallon bucket if he's storing parts or anything in buckets up. And then you're just going to see they're 4 feet wide. And I put the ledger board right here. I put one of them under every shelf. That'll give it extra support. And if I feel that it's too much, I might actually cut ledgers and put them up here. If I go down someday, because I'm down there quite often, if I see it sagging or doing any kind of thing, I'll put a ledger underneath this. That'll keep that from dropping down. I could have dated them in, but it would have took a lot of time. And it is only an old tool room just for storing parts. So that's all we did. Now these are the parts here I'm going to build. Since this was leftover materials, I'm going to build 3 shelves, 5 inches, 5.5 inches, for just small stuff like little fittings, little parts like that. And I'll screw them to the wall where the window was down there. So after I get them built, the next step is I'm going to load it all in the truck and take it there and start installing it. Okay guys, this is the finished product here. I never ended up painting it. I couldn't find any paint, but I got everything pretty much done here now. Just do a quick little tour here. You can see inside, I got the bench made, the upper cabinets. I got, these are shelving units that I built. They're 12 inches wide. And I'll get to the back here. And then there's another one over on that side. And then over here, you can see there's the lights. These little cabinets here I built. That's for your aerosol cans, spray cans, all that stuff. Nice little workbench. And this is the door here. I'll show you. Just the rough lumber trim. Put it on. Everything looks good. It's an old door. We just had to add on to the bottom. You can see where I did that. But other than that, it didn't really cost anything for the door. So that's a $300 savings there. So if you like these videos, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and stay tuned for more videos similar to this. Thanks.